Alright, exam skills, exercise 15. Using all the skills you have learned in this lesson, read the text and complete the multiple choice test, which follows. Okay, so you finished that already, right? Alright, number 1, where can the okay, choose the correct letter A, B or C. 1, where can the first traces of football be found? What's the answer? In B, China, right? Okay, where is that? Yeah. Yeah. Yes, aspects of the game can be traced as early as the 2nd and 3rd centuries BC in China. Yes, that's right. So you can read a few sentences before that, but you still see that the first traces of football can be found in China, right? For example, here they say like football has a long and interesting history, and the origins of the game are present in sports played thousands of years ago in China, Egypt, Japan, and Greece. And also they add that aspects of the game can be traced as early as the 2nd and 3rd centuries in BC in China. So the answer here is B, China, right? Okay, number 2, Ngọc Anh, why did Edward II ban football in the 1300s? You chose A, because it was too violent and death was common. That's the reason Edward II or Edward II banned football in the 1300s. Where is that?
In part 2, against war violence and injury and death were common. Despite the violence, however, they were still very popular. The game had become so popular that in the 1000s, Edward
Yes.
second banned the sport because people were playing football rather than practicing archery.
Yeah, so after reading the whole thing, games were violent and injury and death were common. Despite the violence, however, they were still very popular. The game had become so popular that in the 1300s, Edward II or Edward II banned the sport because people were playing football rather than practicing archery. And after reading that, you still think A is the right answer. Because it was too violent, so he banned that because it was too violent and that was common. Really? You need to see somewhere to mention like the reason, right? And the reason comes after the word because. You only see the reason after the word because, right? And because of what? So he banned the sport because what? Read that again, Ngọc Anh.
Banned the sport because people were playing football rather than practicing archery.
Yes. So he banned that because people were playing football rather than practicing archery. So what should be the right answer here? C, yes, because people weren't practicing archery. Okay? Do you understand archery? No? Can someone explain that? It's like, remember this, like a long time ago in war, people often use swords and bow. That you shoot an arrow. Archery that means shooting an arrow to somewhere. Bắn cung mà. Yeah? So because people were playing football rather than practicing archery, so they forgot all about the war and all about the important things at that time, right? This was especially important to this king. Why? As he was preparing to go to war with Scotland. Okay? He was preparing to go to war with Scotland, so he needed a lot of people who are very good at archery, not very good at football. Okay? So that's why he banned football. Got it? So the answer is C, because people weren't practicing archery. Yeah. Thing number 3. Before rules were established in the 1800s, which of these activities was considered normal?
B. Destroying players' property.
So the answer is B, destroying players' property.
Yes.
Okay, where is that?
In paragraph 3, line number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Before the 1800s, for example,
Mm-hmm.
it was considered normal to hit players on the opposite team and to damage their possessions.
Yeah, before the 1800s, for example, it was considered normal to hit players on the opposite team and to damage their possessions. So which word or which phrase means destroying players' property?
Damage their possessions.
Damage their possessions. Damage their possessions means destroying players' property. Okay, I agree. What does that mean?
It means ruin the things the team has.
Like what? Because we don't see that these days, of course. So what does that mean? To hit players on the opposite team, okay, easy to understand. How about to damage their possessions? What does that mean?
To ruin their score.
To ruin their scores? Like what? To steal their scores. How? So after they score a goal and then you say, no, that's not yours goal, that's my goal, something like that. That's how you understand it. No. Someone else, please. Damage their possessions. What does that mean? Hmm? Do you understand the meaning of the word possessions? Yeah? Or property? So, can someone explain that? Because we cannot just read this, right? Like that, and then we leave it like that. Well, you can imagine like a very violent game, because there was no rule there, or very restricted rules there, right? So what can happen? I mean, people can hit each other in a game, and also they can damage their possessions. That means they can damage the possessions. We can call something like clothes, shoes, or whatever they have. Okay, for example, you see the opposite the opponent or the opposite team, and then you can come and then you can catch that guy, you can punch him, you can tear their clothes, his clothes apart. Okay, or you can maybe kick their shoes and take their shoes or something like that. It's very violent. Because here it's very common, because they say what? They say games were violent and injury and death were common, even death, guys. Okay, so they could do all of the things to harm the opposite team. Okay, so that means damage their positions means destroying players' property. So that's the meaning. Yeah. All right, Min number 4. Women started playing football because, what is the answer? You chose C. In 1991, there was the first Women's World Cup. Okay. Where is that?
In the last paragraph.
Yeah.
In line 4 when
Yeah.
you count.
Okay, from the bottom, yeah, line number 4 from the bottom.
In 1991, China hosted the first Women World Cup, and in 1996, the first women football event was held at the Olympics.
Yes, okay. In 1991, China hosted the first Women's World Cup. And in 1996, the first ever women's football event was held at the Olympics. Is that correct?
I think so.
Check the question again. Be very careful. They ask, women started playing football. Started playing football. Like in 1991, was that the first time women playing football? No. In 1991, that was the first time they had a football World Cup for women, right? But that was not the first time women played football. When or what? When was the first time women played football? Or women started playing football because of what? The
I think we.
B?
And the
Yeah. Yeah, they started to work during the First World War, right? Okay, I also agree with B. Why?
In the first line, an increase in women playing the sport began during the First World War.
Yeah, that's the right spot, but it's not enough. An increase in women playing the sport began during the First World War. Yes, we can see that is women playing that sport, right? Began. So we see that that women started playing football at that time, right? During the First World War. But remember, the question is because they want to know the reason why. Why women play football? Why?
They started to work during the First World War.
They what?
Started to work during the First World War.
Yeah, the answer is B, I know. Why? Where?
Number 2, when women did jobs traditionally done by men.
Yes. So you need to read that one as well, okay? An increase in women playing the sports began during the First World War, when women did jobs traditionally done by men. That's the time and that's the reason why they play football. They play football when they did jobs traditionally done by men during the First World War. Okay, so here that's why they say women started playing football because they started to work during the First World War. Okay, so the answer is B. Yeah, be very careful. Sometimes they just change some words there and then they trick you a lot. Okay, be very careful. They ask for the first time people playing football, not like the big event like the World Cup. All right, now guys, after reading the whole article, do you have any questions? Anything you don't understand, please ask. Mm-hmm. Equivalent. Paragraph 2, line number 2, equivalent. Equivalent, what does that mean? Equivalent is like a noun, and we have another word, something like equal, something like that, okay? Like similar to or the same, okay? So here they say the English equivalent of a football. That means something which is just similar as the football or the same as football used in England at that time. All right, was made using an animal bladder. So equivalent, of course, at that time, remember that is in the 700s. Of course, they don't have a football like a modern football you see these days, right? So that's why they use the word equivalent of a football. That means something look like a modern football. Ok, là tương đồng hay tương đương bạn. Tức là đại khái ý nói là cái trái banh bóng đá mà được dùng hồi đó ở Anh, đúng không? Thì nó được làm từ gì? An animal bladder. You know bladder? What? Da động vật hả? No. Yes. Yeah. Cái bàng quang. Giống như dùng thuật ngữ. Yeah, just store the urine of an animal, okay? Inside an animal, you can write like an organ, like a bag inside the body of a person or animal where urine is stored before it leaves the body. Bàng quang hay là một số vùng miền thì gọi là bọng đái hay là gì đó, right? Hay gì ha? Ok. Đừng thắc mắc tại sao họ lại làm như thế. Đây là thời xưa nha bạn. Thời xưa là cái thời rất là dã man, you understand? Thời xưa đừng hỏi tại sao họ lại có thể làm như thế. No. It's very common. Remember here, it's very violent, right? Games were violent and injury and death were common. So of course you shouldn't be so surprised when you say they use an animal bladder as a football or as an equivalent of a football. You understand? Yeah. Anything else? Okay, paragraph 1, line number 6 from the bottom. Which one?
Origin.
Yeah, and origins of the game. Origins, what does that mean? Origins. The original thing, right? We have original. That's an adjective. And origin is a noun. What does that mean? Yeah, like the starting point, okay, the beginning of something, the starting points of something, okay. In this case, there's talking like, yeah, football has a long and interesting history, and origins of the game are present in sports, okay, like the starting point of that one, giống như nguồn gốc hay là cái gì đó, căn nguyên hay nguồn gốc gì, tức là nguồn gốc của cái trò này. Okay. Anything else?
Paragraph 3 number 4.
Yeah.
No referees.
Referees. Okay, very common these days. If you watch football, you know there's a guy. What? In every football game, you would see that guy, that referee guy. Who's that? Yeah, trọng tài đó. Okay, that's the guy in a game, in a football game, who makes sure that all of the laws, all the rules should be followed by all of the players in that game. Okay. Something else? No? Okay. Yeah, just make sure that you will read that a couple of times, okay? Anything when we learn about reading or anything, just make sure you read them a couple of times. Remember the way they write all the sentences there, the tenses. Okay. Okay. Let me check this. Probably you already knew, but just to be sure. For example, okay, the same sentence with referees. Okay. Until then, the game had continued to be violent, as it had limited rules and no referees. What tense is that? As it had limited rules and no referees. Past perfect. Yes, very good. Why should we use this? And also before that, we have the game had continued to be violent. What tense is that? Also past perfect, right? So they use past perfect for those two sentences. The game had continued to be violent as it had limited rules and no referees. Why should they use the past perfect tense there? Remember before that, in the 1800s, it became particularly common in private schools such as Eton, and it was only then that a set of rules was established. Which tense that? It was only then. Yeah, simple past, and it became particularly common. Which tense? The first sentence, the first line. It became particularly common. Yeah, also past simple. Yeah, so that's why I'm asking. So we have the past simple tense, and right after that they use the past perfect tense. Why? And after that, before the 1800s, for example, it was considered normal. So that is the past simple tense again, right? So why in between they use the past perfect tense? For what? Kind of opposite. So it happened in the 1800s until that time, and then it stopped? No. Kind of opposite. Yeah. Okay, let me give you one short sentence so you can learn better. Something like when I arrived. When I arrived, she had already left. Now tell me, which tense am I using here? This one. Past simple, when I arrived. How about this? Past perfect. Because you see had and verb, past participle, right? Why? What does that mean? Explain this to me. What does that mean? When I arrived, she had already left. What does that mean? Which action happened first? I arrived first or she left first? She left first, right? So this is number one. This is number two. Okay? So there you go. That means that she left first and then I arrived later. So past perfect is something like that. So for example, I have a point here. Now here, this is the present. Let's say this is the present and this is the past, okay? And I have one point in the past. The action in the past at that time is, let's say that is arrived. That is the time when I arrived. The time when I arrived, I say that is a certain point of time in the past. And then she already left. She left somewhere here, right? But do we know exactly when she left? We don't know exactly when she left, but she left before I arrived. Okay? So that means that to use the past perfect tense, you need kind of a certain point in the past first, that is arrived. And then past perfect, that means something happened before that particular point in the past, but we don't know exactly when. Okay? But it happened before that. Got it? Now, so when we apply here, you see, until then, the game had continued to be violent as it had limited rules and no referees. Now tell me, when they used the game had continued to be violent, so that means that the violent thing and also no rules or limited or had limited rules or no referees happened before or after the 1800s. Happened before the 1800s, right? So that's why in this case you have the 1800s. That is a certain point in the past here. And all of the things like violence and also limited rules and no referees, right? So those things happened before the 1800s. So that's why they need to use the past perfect tense. But they don't know, did they say that for how long or when did that happen? No, right? We don't know any certain time before that, but we know that it happened before the 1800s. Okay? Something like violent, limited rules, no reference, no referees, all of that happened before the 1800s. So that's why they use the past perfect tense there. Something happened before a certain point in the past. Okay? All right. Okay. Now, so done, right? No more questions? Okay, let's move on. Unit 2, leisure and recreation, writing. Ngọc Anh, read that in this unit.
In this unit, you will learn how to select and compare key features of charts, graphs, and tables.
Okay, I like it. This is now, after reading this, you know writing part 1 or 2. By reading this, select and compare key features of charts, graphs, and tables. You know this is writing part 1 or 2? What? 1, yes. Okay? This is writing part 1. Go on.
Structure an answer which compares information from charts, graphs, and tables.
Yes, very good. Structure an answer which compares information from charts, graphs, and tables. Good. You need to learn this carefully. Okay, you need to compare all of the things there from different charts and graphs and tables to get a high score. Go on.
Revise the form and use of comparative.
Okay. Done. Now number 1, discuss these questions with a partner. Have you ever watched the Olympic Games, either live or on television? If so, which sports did you enjoy watching the most? Do you prefer the Winter or Summer Olympics? Give reasons for your answers. Now, discuss. Talk. Go. Yeah, maybe TOEIC and Minh, maybe talk. Live far from each other, but to talk to each other, no problem. Why? You can stay right there, or you can move close to him. Doesn't matter. I don't know. You can stay right there, or you can move there. It's up to you. To discuss. Go. Go. Discuss.
Have you ever watched the Olympic Games either live or television? If so, which sport did you enjoy the most? Shooting and badminton, like and swimming. The most I enjoy is badminton and shooting. Practice bring for me a very competitive sense that I can feel over the television or my laptops. Anyways, the thing I enjoy most is he's the most person and players that I enjoy in badminton and in shooting is David something. Do you refer do you do you prefer the winter or summer Olympics? Give reasons for your answers.
I have watched the Olympic game on television.
Yes, finished, guys. Okay, I would like to hear some answers from you all. Okay, now Ngọc Anh, have you ever watched the Olympic Games either live or on television? Yeah, if so, which sports did you enjoy watching the most?
I have watched the Olympics game on the television, and I really enjoy to watching the basketball games. It's really impressive with me because when I watch the two team plays, it's
Go on, don't stop.
when I watch two team plays, it's make me feel want to like try it, want to try it.
Yeah, I want to, to try to play it as well.
Basketball, and I know when I try to play it, it will make me feel make my health very good, and it will make like my height is maybe can grow up.
Okay, all right. Thiên Nga, how about you?
I watched Olympic Games before and I watched on television. If so, I would choose volleyball to watch because at school I have learned about volleyball my PE lessons, and the teachers teach me so much about the rules in volleyball and how many score in one match. And like how many members are in each team, so I would choose it to watch because I know it's the best.
Okay, all right, not so bad. TOEIC, do you prefer the Winter or Summer Olympics? Give reasons for your answers.
Actually, I haven't watched any Olympic Games before, so I don't know too much about it. But I think I like the Summer Olympics because I think it will suitable for the player which who came from the place that have a hot weather. In I think in the summer it will easily for people to play because in winter they need to clean the snow.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense for someone who live in a tropical country like us. Okay. All right. Minh, how about you? Do you prefer the Winter or Summer Olympics? Give reasons for your answers.
In opinions, I prefer the Summer Olympics because I can see in the summer there's more games that start in Olympics like tennis or arch or golf. I remember. And in my opinions, I more have excitement moments in the sun from the Summer Olympics. They are more bright and bring me like a very competitive sense. That bring me like actually I watch it by my personal device, but when I see the sun, I feel like I were in the stadiums. I watch live.
Okay.
So in opinions, I still prefer the Summer Olympics.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Now let's move on to exercise 2. Study the chart and graph and answer the questions which follow. So you can have a look at these two, the charts and the graph, okay? And answer all of the questions there from 1 to 3, right? Which countries or former countries were successful in both the Winter and Summer Olympics? Oh, the one on the left side, Winter Olympics, highest ranking, medal winners of all time. Bronze, silver, gold, and then we have Norway, USA, Germany, USSR, and Canada. Number of medals. Summer Olympics, highest ranking medal winners of all time. Okay. You can discuss this with each other, guys. Discuss. USSR là Liên Xô nha các bạn. Liên Xô cũ không giống như Nga bây giờ nữa nha bạn. Liên Xô cũ sau này tan rã rồi đầu mới hình thành một số những cái nước khác. And yeah. So USSR stands for Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, or we can call that Soviet Union. And it was not a single country, but kind of a combination of many countries, and the largest of which was Russia. Okay, and USSR existed from 1922 to 1991. So you should know that's kind of Soviet Union. Liên Xô là được rồi, bạn biết nó là Liên Xô rồi. Okay, now guys, please discuss with each other how you understand those two charts and try to answer all of the questions there. Go. Yeah, discuss the one on the left side first and then go to the right side.
For Summer Olympics, we have USA for the successful
Yeah,
country
the most
with the highest
the
ranking
campaign
medal
award
winner
feels very
and the
some of the
number
friends.
stood at
I think
about
most
2,000
France.
2,500
I see it's
number of
equal.
players. Which country or from a country won the most gold medal in the Winter Olympics?
I see friends global.
The countries have won the most gold medal in the Winter Olympics is Norway,
Yeah. Okay, now number one, which countries or former countries were successful in both the Winter and Summer Olympics? Which one? USA? Yes, we have USA. Why do you know?
Because in the winter they are facing the second, but in the summer they are in the first place, so they are both success in summer and winter Olympics.
Yes, that's right. When you look at the Winter Olympics, you look at USA, the number of gold medals they receive somewhere like just under 100. Okay, just under 100 gold medals, right? And for the Summer Olympics, number of medals, they got something like more than 2,000. I think should be something like somewhere around 2,400, something like that, right? Okay. What else? Only USA? What else? Not only one country, right? Something else. We also have the next one, maybe not as successful as the USA, but it's also okay. The USSR, right? USSR, because for the Winter Olympics, how many gold medals did they receive? Ngọc Anh, do you know? Yeah, just over 50 gold medals, right? We don't count silver or bronze now. We just look at the gold medals because that's the most important thing now. Okay. And also for Summer Olympics, how many medals did they earn? Something like 1,000, right? Yeah. Okay. So we have the USA, USSR, and one more. What's that? One more country, which is also okay.
Germany.
Yeah, Germany. Germany is also okay, right? Germany. Okay, so you can write something like that. You can write USA, USSR, and Germany. Okay. All right. Now, which country or former country won the most gold medals in the Winter Olympics? Winter Olympics. What's that? Norway. Norway, right? Winter Olympics. Norway. So you can write Norway there. Okay, the last one. Which country or former country won the fewest medals in the Summer Olympics? Wait. Let me ask you first, just to be sure. Number two, Norway, right? They won the most gold medals in Winter Olympics. How many? Thi Nga, tell me.
Just over 100.
Yeah, just over 100 medals, gold medals, to be specific, right? Now, number three, which country or former country won the fewest medals in the Summer Olympics? Of course, Summer Olympics, you have to look at the summer charts, right? So, which country is that? France, right? How many? How many? Yeah, under 1,000, somewhere like probably 800 or something, around. But guys, remember, when you don't know exactly the exact number, you have to use some words like about, around, approximately, okay? Or just under, or just above, just over, something like that, yeah? Because you don't know for sure, you don't know exactly. Okay. Good. Now let's move on to the next one. Structuring your answer. Read this sample answer, which describes the chart and graph in exercise 2. After reading that, you need to Do exercise 4. Label the paragraphs of the sample answer, summary, main body, or introduction. Okay? Easy. Do it. All right, now let's try to answer number 4 first. Label the paragraphs of the sample answer, summary, main body, and or introduction. Number 1 was that? Introduction. Number 2? Man body. Number 3, man body. Number 4, summary. Well, in IELTS writing part 1, you can either put the summary at the end or right after the introduction. Okay? Yeah? It's up to you. Did you read that one carefully? Yeah? Alright, now let's go to exercise number 5 and you understand that. Answer these questions which deal with some minor differences between discussing one graph and comparing 2 or more graphs. Now answer all of those 3 questions, guys. Did the writer introduce both graphs in the introduction? Did the writer discuss the details on the main body of both graphs in the same paragraph or separate paragraphs? Did the summary include both the bar chart and the graph or just one? Answer those 3 questions now. Now, did the writer introduce both graphs in the introduction? Yes, right? Okay, we can read that again together. TOEIC, read that.
The chart shows which countries have won the most medals in the Winter Olympics. It also states how many gold, silver, and bronze medals each country has achieved. In contrast, the line graph shows which nations have won the most medals in the Summer Olympics.
Okay, so we can see that they already introduced both graphs or both charts, right? First of all, they introduced the bar chart. The bar chart shows which countries have won the most medals in the Winter Olympics. You can see it right there. And it also states how many gold, silver, and bronze medals each country has achieved. So it's kind of, it just summarize the main thing or what you can see in that bar chart, okay? And then it introduces the other one. In contrast, the line graph shows which nations have won the most medals in the Summer Olympics. That is the one on the right side, right? So it introduces both charts, okay? So that's what you have to do when you deal with this type of test, okay? So did the writer introduce both graphs in the introduction? Yes. Number 2, did the writer discuss the details or the main body of both graphs in the same paragraph or separate paragraphs? Mừng, what's the answer?
I'm not sure, but the first one is I think it's the main body.
Yeah, those two, those two after the introduction, you see the man bodies. Okay, you see paragraph 2 and paragraph 3, they are the man body. But the question, look at question number 2. Did the writer discuss the details of both graphs in the same paragraph or separate paragraphs? Ngọc Anh. Thiên Nga.
The writer discussed the details in the separate paragraphs.
Yeah, the writer discussed the details of both graphs in separate paragraphs. Okay, specifically, paragraph 2, what is it about? The Winter Olympics or the Summer Olympics?
Winter Olympics.
Okay, so the second paragraph is about the Winter Olympics, and the third paragraph is about the Summer Olympics, right? So it means we have two graphs and the writer describes them separately. Okay? And actually you should do the same. Don't try to mix them unless you want to compare them in some particular points. Okay? Otherwise you just describe the bar chart first, or the Winter Olympics chart first, and then you discuss the line chart, that is the Summer Olympic chart. And in between, of course, you can try to compare those two, or if you see, okay, there's a need of making some comparisons between the charts or some information, then you can put it here and there. But in general, you need to separate them to make it clear. Okay? Yeah, this is the right form or the correct structure. Okay, so the answer for number 2 is separate or separate paragraphs. Okay. Now number 3, did the summary include both the bar chart and the graph, or just one? TOEIC. Yeah, the answer is both, right? And that's what you need to do as well when you deal with this type of assignment, right? Because they give you two graphs. So when you give a summary, you have to give a summary for both of them, not just one of them. Okay? Alright, now you can read the summary. TOEIC, read that.
To summarize, the bar chart and the graph illustrate how many medals the highest ranking countries have won in summer and winter Olympics. The results of each Olympics are very different, with the USA, the USSR, and Germany being successful in both.
Okay, yes, that's right. Okay. Alright, so that's it for our lesson today. We will continue next week. Okay.